Rich, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We got one more minute. All right, I'd like to call to order the February 13th, 2025 regular meeting of the Park Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Monica, can we have a roll call, please?
President Gibson.
Here.
Vice President Ruffing.
Here.
Commissioner Ansier. Here. Commissioner Jacks.
Here.
Commissioner Janner, absent. Commissioner Risvold.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson, absent. President Gibson, I've been informed that Commissioner Janner has requested to participate remotely due to business purposes.
Move to allow remote meeting participation of Commissioner Janner per Section 7 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second. All right, can we get a roll call, please?
Vice President Ruffing.
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks.
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold.
Yes.
President Gibson.
Yes. Commissioner Janner, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thanks. Monica, do we have any matters from the public?
We do not.
All right, so next we'll move on to Western DuPage Special Recreation Association annual visit. Hi, Dan.
I'm not going to break the clicker this year. That was a year one thing, but thanks for having me here tonight. Always one of my favorite agency visits. Proud Naperville resident. Our family are heavy users of the Park District. One of the reasons that we live here, and even prouder to be part of Western DuPage Special Recreation and the experiences that we partner on together to make Naperville a better community. So, with that said, just a few highlights. Quick focus on some of the specific ways that we partner with Naperville. We have 2 Rec and Roll Community Day program sites. Those function almost like a school setting from 9 to 2:30. We have 2 sites at Sportsman's in Fort Hill, and those are for 22 years and older individuals with disabilities. So when they're out of the school system, a lot of families don't know where to turn. Really a unique program that up there you can see. Those 2 programs alone here in Naperville provide 450 hours of programming every single week, and that's year-round. So again, essential services as far as those families are concerned. We do a lot of events and programming here in your facilities. Santa's Workshop just happened. That's always a highlight. Shared spaces for our athletic programs, very important. And we do host a national bocce tournament right here in Fort Hill. Inclusion requests, probably one of the most visible ways that you all use us. Any individual of any age. My wife helped a 65-year-old with dementia to do pottery. Anybody that needs extra assistance or adapted help to make a program successful, that's what we do. Collaborative partners and planning for future needs. Brad's involved us recently in the indoor needs assessment, so I was very excited to have a voice in that process. And we're very grateful for all our member agencies, are very generous with our foundation, and you're no different with our bash, which will be here in about 2 weeks, and our golf outing in June. So Western DuPage's year in review got off to a little bit of a bumpy start. Last year at this time, I was out here showing you pictures of our flooded building. Brad had the fortune of being the board president during most of that time, and he was a great resource, and we're back in our building and everything's good. So all good there. Once we got over those bumps, we new programs, new partnerships, we're always looking to grow. We partnered with a lot of SRAs around us to offer unique adaptive sports, wheelchair basketball, and just to grow our presence as much as we could. Our program registrations, the ones that you would see in our catalog, are up 8% year over year. That's a trend that has been continuing. And then our inclusion requests are at an all-time high. We had 20% year-over-year increase, and then I'll expand on that in a slide or two. We did get a new financial software system implemented, so that was a big undertaking. And we really have stable staffing right now. We have about 32 full-timers and 300 part-time staff that we bring in to work our various programs. A lot of little numbers and charts up there, but on the left, the two pie charts, no surprise, Naperville represents about a third of all of our program registrations and our inclusion requests, about a third on both. But to the bottom right there, if you look at that bar graph, the green bar, it doesn't really represent the growth, but just in the last 2 years, the number of inclusion requests that we've seen from our 9 member districts has doubled. So we've been shifting a lot of resources and working creatively. It's an ongoing discussion with the board to meet those requests and remain, responsible how we do it fiscally and with our staffing. But the number of requests that comes in, it's just an ongoing, increase. Our foundation is a big part of what we do. In the red box, you can see that last year we had nearly $900,000 that was raised through cash and in-kind gifts. We're very fortunate to have a large network of donors, and our team works really hard to cultivate that. So just a lot of good things happening there. And then on the right that you can see, we have increased demand for financial aid. I'll say this every time. Families with special needs, individuals need financial aid often more than other families just because one person is dedicated to caretaking or driving or whatever the case may be. So we're very fortunate to have an active foundation, 16 board members, and beyond the 2 events that they do, it's year-round, and we get significant gifts year-round. So very lucky to have that. Naperville Rotary was just there today, and we got a nice check from them. So very good. Always like to highlight at least one participant story. If you were at the bash last year, we focused on this individual, Erin. She had lost her mother. Her dad didn't know what to do. Connected to us through, I think, a healthcare provider that referred Erin, and since doing WD programs has just blossomed. She's an accredited Disney writer, really has just found her voice, and a delightful girl, and just one example of the type of joy that we can really bring to the community and to families. So Erin's a great success story. And just final thoughts, this partnership, the SRA partnership that we have, you go down to NRPA, you don't see it. It's unique to Illinois, and it really does ensure access to recreation for all. Beyond accessible playgrounds, beyond buildings that work for people, it's the programs and recreation and people pursuing their passions. We're working on our strategic plan. We're just completing year 2, so year 3, continuous progress on that. And then I keep reminding everybody in 2026, WDSRA will celebrate 50 years in the community, so hopefully we'll be coming back with some exciting ways to partner and celebrate that and get some visibility around that. So with that said, happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions? I would just like to say congratulations for being back in your building.
Thank you.
This is a really great presentation, and I think it's going to be really helpful when we talk to our constituents about the important role WDSRA plays in our community. Where's the best place to find this? Is this posted on your website?
It's not. I can package it and send it.
Okay.
I actually have one fix to make. But
we have a copy of this that we can share with the board. So.
Okay, great.
For
I mean,
sure.
This is wonderful, and thank you. I mean, clearly with the need increasing, you're playing an important role.
Absolutely.
Here, so
Thanks.
you. Is there, Executive Director Wilson?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Dan, to you and your staff. Looking back at this past year, it was an extremely challenging year being displaced from your building with staff really kind of all over, and you continue to run all the various programs and work through the challenges of just the significant growth that we've seen with the inclusion requests. And, certainly your staff has done a tremendous job, and very much appreciate it. So.
I'll definitely share that with them. Thank you.
I just wanted to echo Brad. I wanted to say thank you. The work you guys are doing is incredible, and it's a privilege that we get to partner with you all, and thank you very much for everything that you do.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All
right.
good? Yeah.
All right. Well,
This is
thank you.
easy.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so
coming
much. You
tonight.
guys
We
have a
always
good meeting.
Appreciate your visits. Thank you. All right. We will move on then to the updates and reports. I'll start with Riverwalk. We met yesterday morning. One of the interesting things we talked about, Tiffany at the Park District updated that we're going to be trying a new volunteer event. I believe it's going to be covered in Parks and Rec as well, where we'll have a day every month where people can, like a dedicated day, the volunteers can come out and help along the Riverwalk. One of the projects she suggested was maybe splitting hostas, which sounded very interesting, something I need to learn how to do, so I might be joining the volunteer group. So look forward to that happening in the spring. Also, on February 25th at the Municipal Center in Council Chambers, Rick Hitchcock will be giving a presentation on the history of the Riverwalk. It's open to the public at 9 a.m., so everybody's welcome to join us there. It's definitely going to be an interesting presentation. Our next meeting for the Riverwalk will be March 12th at 7:30 a.m. at the Naperville Municipal Center. I will move on to Finance Committee.
No report, but we are meeting early next month.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Legislative Committee, I don't believe.
We haven't met, but there are several pieces of legislation that we need to meet about to discuss that Executive Director Wilson made us aware of recently, all of which look like they're going to be very beneficial to the Park District. So we're hopefully going to meet here in the next few weeks to discuss those.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Risvold. Parks and Rec Committee.
Okay. Parks and Rec Committee met this evening prior to tonight's meeting at 5:45 here at Fort Hill. It was a relatively brief meeting, but we got some updates about some moving capital projects around a little bit, as well as updates about the Weber Road improvements of the DuPage River Trail. A lot of these things will be coming down the line to the entire board in the coming weeks, as well as information about the golf capital projects and the mower purchase. I believe those should be installed pretty soon here. Updates from the departments. We're looking from planning to resubmit the OSLED grant with the assistance of, I'm sorry, the name of the company that helped with that, but they're going to be filing for another OSLED grant for us next year, so some of the Nike Park stuff will be being moved out. Strategic plan is coming up as well, so we'll be getting into that. Preseason has already started for Centennial Beach, so they're starting to get moving on that already, which is hard to believe if it's February and 13 degrees out. Then garden plots will be opening up soon for the public. And then we got some updates on golf carts and unfortunately having to replace a truck from the fleet that was involved in an accident. Thankfully, nobody was harmed, but that is something that we're having to replace here soon. And marketing is excited that they're going to be doing a social media type of forum that's not been done before with IRPA, and they're going to be hosting it here. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully hear more about that. Next meeting will be on March 13th at 5:45 p.m. here at Fort Hill.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Ansier. On to the President's Report. Since our last President's Report, there was the Illinois Association of Park Districts and IPRA's state conference this January. When we, at least half of us, were elected to the board, then President Marie Todd, who had been a longtime commissioner, urged all of us to take part in these conferences and educational opportunities because they're really fundamental to learning how to do our job as board members. So while I unfortunately couldn't make this one, I am grateful that several of the commissioners had, and I want to specifically call out Vice President Ruffing for getting her master board status. Shows her commitment to learning and growing in the role. And I know Executive Director Wilson will be talking about the other awards and accolades we got at the conference, but I just want to take a moment because, you know, the things we learn at the conference are really essential to learning how we make decisions and how park districts work. So I'm grateful that you took the time and that everybody who was able to go to the conference and all the educational opportunities offered to us through these organizations. Thank you for taking the time. I know you have busy lives. So also wanted to call out in the last meeting, January 30th, Executive Director Wilson gave us an update on the strategic plan, part of our biannual update. So if any members of the public haven't had a chance to listen to that video, the strategic plan really guides the work we do here on the board. So we appreciate the biannual updates, and that is worth a listen if anybody hasn't heard it yet. So, all right, thank you. I will move on to Executive Director Wilson's report.
Thank you, President Gibson. On the topic of the conference, the Naperville Park District had an excellent showing at this year's IAPD IPRA conference in January. First, I would also like to congratulate Park Board Vice President Leslie Ruffing for receiving the Master Board Member Award during the conference. Master Board Member is the highest level in IAPD's Board Member Development Program, and recipients must dedicate themselves to learning the many aspects of the Park District world. Vice President Ruffing joins President Gibson in earning this elite status, further expanding our board's knowledge in Parks and Recreation. In addition to Vice President Ruffing's award, Stacy Fontescia, with the district's sales and sponsorship manager, received the Rising Star Award from IPRA's Communications and Marketing section, recognizing her overall contribution. Along with the individual awards, the district received the Outstanding Facility Award for its Rothermel Family Skate Facility, recognizing its unique design and accessibility, as well as the extensive community input received throughout the planning process. Additionally, several Naperville Park District staff shared their expertise across 6 conference sessions. Presenters included Stacy Fontescia, Jeremy Link, Steve Schindelbeck, Samira Luthman, Katie Seppi, Lizette Zuniga, Eric Schutz, Tim Quigley, and attorney Dirk Price, and 3 Naperville Park District sponsors. Congratulations to all staff and board members who were presented or were recognized at this year's conference. The 2025 State of the Naperville Park District podcast is now available at napervilleparks.org, on the district's YouTube channel, and also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. It is presented as a 6-episode series on the district's Park Talk podcast and focused on the theme, Shaping a Sustainable Future in Parks and Recreation. The episodes highlight enlightening conversations with our Park Board President and Park District staff members and partners, all exploring the many ways that our organization leverages innovation and opportunities for growth to benefit our community. The Spring 2025 Program Guide will be available for viewing on our website beginning Wednesday, February 26th. This latest edition includes details on programs like baseball and softball, garden plot rentals, and camp programs for both spring and summer breaks. Registration for spring programs and summer camps begins on Monday, March 3rd. And then lastly, Tuesday, March 4th is National Sportsmanship Day, and the Naperville Park District wants to remind athletes, parents, spectators, coaches, and referees of the importance fair play, good etiquette, and respect for others plays in good sportsmanship. This annual day of recognition is celebrated on the first Tuesday of March and was established by the International Sports Institute in 1991 with the goal of promoting good sportsmanship around the country and to set high standards for future generations of athletes. In 2020, the Naperville Park District passed a resolution for the observance of National Sportsmanship Day in support of the organization's goal to further promote good sportsmanship within athletic programs. The Park District continues to demonstrate its commitment to promoting sportsmanship year-round for the benefit of everyone who is part of our programs, from players and coaches to referees and spectators. Additional information on our programs, events, and facilities, and other Park District news can be found at napervilleparks.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Director Wilson. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Monica, would you mind reading that?
Item 5.1, approve January 2025 disbursements in the amount of $3,540,063.80. 5.2, approve January 2025 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $268,077.14. 5.3, approve January 2025 customer refunds in the amount of $523.86. 5.4, approve January 30th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. 5.5, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Play Illinois LLC in coordination with BCI Burke Company LLC in the amount of $103,413 for play equipment for the development of Polo Club Park procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.6, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Play Illinois LLC in coordination with BCI Burke Company LLC in the amount of $99,780 for play equipment for the Rose Hill Farms Park Playground renovation project procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.7, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Reindeers, Inc. in the amount of $93,347.22 for a 2025 Toro Reelmaster 5010-H hybrid fairway mower procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.8, accept the base bid of Evans and Son Blacktop Inc. in the amount of $38,554.97 is the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the East Greens parking lot and basketball court renovations project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $40,483. 5.9, accept the base bid of Integral Power Atlantic LLC in the amount of $110,081 as the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the Frontier Sports Complex Field 5 and 6 electrical service replacement project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $115,585.05. 5.10, accept the base bid of Total Pro Construction, Inc. in the amount of $43,627 as the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the 2025 door and hardware replacements project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $45,808.35. 5.11, accept the base bid of Halloran and Yacht Inc. in the amount of $241,200 as the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the Commissioners Park Irrigation Pump Station Replacement Project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $253,260. 5.12, accept the base bid in alternate number 1 of Innova Fence in the amount of $44,096.95 is the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the Springbrook Golf Course driving range fence replacement project, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $46,301.80. 5.13, approve the purchase of one 2025 Toro Workman HDX utility vehicle in the amount of $33,786, and one Toro Workman HDX utility vehicle with cab in the amount of $44,732 from Reindeers, Inc. for a total expenditure of $78,518 through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative. 5.4, approve the purchase of one 2024 Ford F-250 4x4 pickup truck in the amount of $48,714, two Ford F-350 4x4 dump trucks in the amount of $54,721 each, and one Ford F-450 dump truck in the amount of $57,397 from Sutton Ford for a total expenditure of $215,726 through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative. 5.15, approve the contract with Concentra as the district's occupational health services provider. 5.16, approve the 2024 Cash in Lieu Fund annual report for the fiscal year January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And finally, 5.17, approve the 2025 independent contractor agreement for youth soccer instruction with Chicago Fire Youth Camps, LLC. That is all.
Thank you, Monica. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately? Hearing none,
Move to accept consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Ruffing,
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald,
Yes.
President Gibson.
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. No unfinished business, no new business. We do have executive session tonight. The next regular meeting of the Park Board of Commissioners will be February 27th, 2025 at 6:30 PM here at Fort Hill Activity Center.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition per Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Ruffing.
Yes.
Commissioner Ansier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald,
Yes.
President Gibson.